going to be talking about the courage to love, turning towards ourselves. So this is continuing with this exploration of the courage to love, knowing there is nothing to hang on to. And today, turning inward. Last time we looked at love expressed in our relationships, those intimate, often tender spaces where love can flourish and where we may at times also be challenged, where we get mirrored and may not like it, and we get stretched within that, and ultimately where we can grow. But this week, I want to shift the lens just a little and speak to something often more elusive, and for many, even more difficult, the courage to love ourselves. This kind of love can feel foreign, even wrong. We may carry messages from our childhood or the cultures we've grown up in that was either spoken or unspoken that may say that we're not good enough, that we need to be perfect to be worthy, that many of us have grown up feeling unseen or underappreciated. And we may have absorbed the belief that to love ourselves is somehow self-centered or indulgent. And yet, in the deepest way, this kind of love is neither inflated nor self-important. It's honest, grounded, tender. It's the courage to meet ourselves as we are, with no pretense and no need to fix or change anything in order to be worthy of care. Just like the love in our relationships, self-love isn't about controlling or idealization. It's about seeing clearly and loving anyway. At the heart of all of this is the recognition that we, like every other being, want to be happy. We want to be free from suffering. And though we may act out of confusion sometimes, harming ourselves or others along the way, that desire is sincere, that there is a basic goodness at the core, even when we feel cut off from it. So when we speak of loving ourselves, it isn't about idolizing some image of perfection. It's about turning toward this human being, this life, this experience, however imperfect or confused at times we may be, that there's this trying, this caring, kindness. So we do things to help, to show up, even when we fall short. And this is the tenderness that self-love brings, with a recognition that our intentions matter, that even when we stumble, the fact that we care, that we try, is worthy of appreciation. And appreciation truly can be a doorway to loving this being. We can start small, just noticing that we got up today, that we fed ourselves, that we show up to work, to family, to our daily responsibilities, that we take time, however little it may seem, to try to be kind. And maybe we went for a walk when our heart was heavy. Maybe we reached out to a friend or allowed ourselves to be held by someone's presence. These gestures may seem small, but they are acts of love, and they matter. Sometimes this love for self shows up when we make space for our mistakes, when we allow ourselves to be messy, confused, or off track, when we stop punishing ourselves for not being what we think we should be, and instead offer ourselves the same compassion we would offer a dear friend. Because underneath the layers of judgment and pressure, there is still this human being, alive and aware, still desiring to be free, still capable of deep kindness and connection. And the same way we spoke last time about the courage to love others, knowing we can't hold on, when we begin to see how that same truth applies here. We can't grasp onto a fixed idea of who we are. We're not solid. We're not defined by our worst moments or our best moments. We are a process, a living being in motion, responding, evolving, changing. And just like in our relationships, when we bring this awareness to ourselves, we begin to soften the grip. We stop making ourselves the object of blame or constant fixing. We begin to hold ourselves with more spaciousness, more honesty, more tenderness. And this is where we start to feel at home in our own being. In truth, the love we offer ourselves becomes the foundation for how we show up in the world. When we feel at home in ourselves, even a little bit, we're less reactive, less needy, less likely to seek wholeness through others. We begin to relate with more generosity, clarity, and a greater sense of freedom. And in this way, the path continues. Loving ourselves is not the end, but part of the same journey, the same expression of wisdom and compassion we spoke about before. It's not separate from loving others. In fact, the more we love ourselves wisely, the more fully we can love without clinging or demand. So this week, I invite you to take moments to appreciate yourself, not in a forced or performative way, but gently, quietly, with honesty. Look at the ways that you care, the ways that you have tried, you've turned up, the ways you've shown up even when it was hard. And this appreciation, this courage to turn toward yourself, is already love in action. And next time, we'll move further into this path by looking at the ways self-love naturally leads us to interconnection, to realizing that the boundaries between self and other are not so fixed. That just as we awaken in relationship, we also awaken as a part of a larger interdependent web of life. But for now, just start with this, a moment of tenderness toward the one who's been with you through it all, you.